course, the New York Times, CNN, all of your favorite sources are now saying, you know, that incredible military strike that our brave team was able to go in, get it done, and get out before even anyone knew it happened? Not good enough. Not good enough. And of course, that reporting came out of some leaked documents. And of course, we still are dealing with the fact that there are leaked documents. Leaking is still happening, but thankfully now we have a group that is in there right now in the Pentagon saying, hey, if you're going to be leaking these top high-end security details, number one, it's treasonous. Again, those are their words. It's treasonous. And also, we're going to do an investigation. We're going to figure out how you got this info. Because really, who does it benefit? Who does it benefit to show this analysis? And the analysis, of course, they said was not necessarily 100%, wasn't necessarily accurate. They did say that it was leaked, saying that, yes, it pushed them back probably months. Maybe it didn't push them back years or completely decimate these facilities. But it's also not anything that's been 100% proven by any means. But the only person or the only group that this emboldens is the enemy at this point.
That's right, Logan. We now have confirmation that the deep state isn't just alive and well, but it's playing politics with war, with our troops now. And so who does the deep state go to when they want to subvert the agenda of President Trump or even the successes of our military? They go to Natasha Bertrand, who is CNN's deep state correspondent. Remember, she is the one that got the exclusive about the 51 former intelligence individuals that were coming out saying, hey, this Hunter Biden laptop, it's Russian disinformation. So she ran with that. That was her big scoop. And now her big scoop for CNN is that there's an intelligence report from the Defense Intelligence Agency that, by the way, has low-level confidence. And
what does that mean? I want to be able to understand
that. Means that this is just a very preliminary assessment. They haven't been able to really get in there and see what has gone on. But the low-level confidence, top secret intelligence report that was leaked to CNN said that it appears that their capacity to build a nuclear weapon is moved back by a matter of months. So that is now the headline that you're seeing people like Aaron Burnett on CNN running with after their reporter, Natasha Bertrand, went with it. The New York Times are all taking it. They're celebrating this like there's egg on the president's face, when in reality, our soldiers, our troops, our pilots went over there and had a perilous mission, did it, and now they're celebrating it.
Yeah, they're celebrating what they think could be a not 100% successful mission. Well, you know what we know also about this president? Guess what? If it's not 100% successful, you know what's going to happen? We'll send a couple more over there. We'll see what happens.
Remember how Pete Hegseth and the entire team early on, because of the incidental adding of Jeffrey Goldberg to their signal chat, put national security at risk. So many people were at risk, and just the fact of our secrets being not protected. Now we have CNN running with a story that was leaked to them.
So happy
in the aftermath of a successful bombing campaign in Iran that is trying to push a different narrative than what the president has said. And honestly, it's a low confidence assessment. It's very early, but
they're breathing a sigh of relief because they actually have something they can report on that their audience hopefully will like. That's the problem, is they've been having to cover a story that has been kind of celebrated over even from a lot of Democrats. And they don't like that. It doesn't fit the narrative. So what are we going to do? We're going to get someone we know, a low-level person in the Pentagon, to leak us a document that says, oh, it was a success, just maybe not as big of a success as we thought.
And the fact that they are so excited and wanting to push this, and you even saw Aaron Burnett, who a few weeks ago, maybe just before the attack, said that Iran was years away from a nuclear bomb. Now joyfully reporting, look, it's only pushed back their program a couple of months, trying to have it both ways. They are excited about this instead of calling this out. What is this? A national security risk, this leak. This is someone who decided to leak something for political purposes, and the only person it helps, other than maybe a bump in viewership at CNN and MSNBC, is the Ayatollah of Iran. It's a PR win for the Iranians. regardless of what the assessment says, the only person it helps is the Iranian mullahs and Ayatollah.
I think we should, give them their due. You probably want to hear from them. So maybe we'll hear from Bertrand, hear a little bit from CNN. Where do you want to start with?
Sure, you can. This is Natasha Bertrand reporting on the story. This is Bite 10.
About the battle damage that resulted from those U.S. military strikes on these 3 Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And as you said, it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged, the Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months.
All right, so that is CNN's point of view. Again, coming from leaked documents, low-level documents. Again, she caveats it a little by saying, this is just early assessments. We don't really know. We haven't really been able to go take a look at all the battle damage. This is maybe from looking at, I guess, satellite imagery of what happened here. And look, I'm not saying necessarily they're wrong, because now President Trump and a lot of them have said they're wrong. But the idea that you would get this document, you would push to get it, and then you would report on something that, again, only benefits a very big threat to the United States. I don't understand, other than just putting President Trump, making him look somehow a little bit less honest, I guess, than they want, because he said it was a massive success. But let's hear from President Trump as well.
Oh, fake news, CNN? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Wait till you hear this question.
Thank you, sir.
You should really say how great our soldiers and our warriors are.
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors. I do have 2 questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive. Are you relying on Israeli intelligence for your assessment of the impact of the strikes?
No, this is also Iran made the statement. And it's also, if you read the document that was given, that Pete can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage. But they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out.
When you hear the president there, one, also pointing out, as CNN likes to do, that, and you could tell that Natasha Bertrand, even in that report, had clearly seen the whole document. Yeah. She knew a lot of details and ins and outs. But that is selective reporting. In the headline, the splashy headline that they wanted was that the assessment suggests strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites, sources say. They are using anonymous leakers that are dangerous to the United States national security. They are trying to undermine the mission of our military and of the president. They should be celebrating that everyone was safe, that it struck a military target, and that it wasn't leaked beforehand, even though they are probably upset that their deep state sources didn't give them a tip-off ahead of the flight so that they could put our pilots in harm's way as they're on their way to Iran. But instead, they just want to celebrate what they could see as a failure by the president to keep the world safe. And that's the only person they're helping is the Ayatollah.
But this Pentagon is not going to just roll over and take it. They're not just going to say, okay, fine, we have people leaking, whatever, no big deal. No. And Steve Witkoff responded to that. I want to play that just earlier. It's Bite 5.
It goes without saying that leaking that type of information, whatever the information, whatever side it comes out on, is outrageous. It's treasonous. So it ought to be investigated, and whoever did it, whoever's responsible for it, should be held accountable. It could hurt lives in the future. Leaking is a completely unacceptable thing.
I want to kick it over to a phone call. Scott, go ahead.
I do agree it's disrespectful to our men and women in uniform that carried out the mission. I don't see any reason to get worked up about it. right now, let an investigation happen. We'll find out the truth. And I'm kind of glad that the liberal media outlets are running with this because, once again, give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves and lose again.
Scott, I think what the biggest issue with it also is just how much they have made about classified documents in the past. The president trying to have him put in jail, President Trump, over retaining documents from his presidency. And now, but they are freely able to do something in an early assessment when a ceasefire is very fragile that could embolden the mullahs and ayatollahs and have real consequences for our men and women in uniform in the region. It doesn't help the national security. It doesn't help the lives of Americans when an assessment like this, which is selectively reported, is leaked by someone that works for the Pentagon, is what it appears, and given to the press, and they are able to run with it. And it damages the reputation of the United States. It damages the safety of the United States and of our men and women in uniform. So I understand where you're coming from. And yes, an investigation will be done, and hopefully the leaker is found and held accountable. Because going forward, that also can't be the pattern. It can't be that the deep state selectively gives information to the press in order to harm the interest of the United States. That's why we're worked up about it.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.